I'm your host, Amin Dillon, and just in time for school, today on the show we're talking about Spirit of Math. Now, with over 25 years of success, Spirit of Math is a well-established leader in providing students with after-school mathematics education. And to tell us more, I've got from Spirit of Math, Kim Langen here. Well, Kim, it's so great to have you back. How's it going?
Oh, thanks. It's going great. Actually, we're really busy because school is starting very soon.
I know. I was going to say, it seems like you've got lots going on since the last time we saw you. Yeah. So before we let people know about all the exciting developments, including some new locations, which is always very important, for our viewers that are not familiar with Spirit of Math, I gave a little example that's a mathematics education, but I'm sure people are wondering, what does that mean, Kim? So can you explain to us a little bit about what you do?
Well, the Spirit of Math is different from the typical type of after-school program. It is an after-school program, and it's really for high-performing students, so those students who have a B+ or higher overall average and who are looking for more and love math and love to be in an environment where other kids are wanting a challenge too. So what we really do is we focus on 4 main areas, and the first is our drills, the second is core work, the third is problem solving, and the fourth is cooperative group work, because mathematics can't be done just as a single sport by yourself. It is actually, it has to be a discussion if you're going to go deeper. And what's really interesting is many people will think of drills and say, well, my kids can get drills easily, but our drills are in a way so that the kids develop an automaticity of facts, and they have to do that so that the whole class reaches a certain average before they can move on to the next difficulty level. Our core program from grade 5 and up goes really deeply into each topic. So we don't take topics really quickly. We take it slowly and deeply, thoroughly, so that by the time you're finished, you don't have to go back and revisit that topic, and then you use that in the next one. The other thing that people really like about Spirit of Math is the problem solving. And the problem solving is really to get the people thinking in terms of logical thinking. And I find that if we can fix the type of thinking and the way that people think about things, and if we can fix it at a young age and get them thinking properly at a young age, then when they get older, it becomes natural for them to say, well, if this, then this. So even for grade 1s, we will start with a very simple type of question, such that I have 2 fingers here and 1 here. One of my hands does not have 1. What is the other? Well, if one of my hands does not have 1, it's this one, so the other is this. So the answer is this. And we will write that down for grade 1 level. And our grade 1's second class, the reason why we give them that type of question is, first of all, to get them to read carefully what's being asked. Don't just assume certain things. And secondly, to think through it so that you break apart, well, if one of them is not 1, to break it apart, stop, think, then what is the other one? Well, it's this one. So that's just the beginning. And then from there, once they've got the thought process and the language behind mathematics and what it's really asking, then you pull in the numbers and you put all the other things. And if they've got the automaticity of the number facts, then that means that it just comes naturally. They're not even thinking 3 times 4 is 12. It's just automatically, and then they're able to think properly, put the numbers in, and then we just go deeper and broader into the topics. And by discussing with others, their ideas are challenged. And also for these high-performing students, it's important that they realize that they're not always right, and that's okay, and that sometimes you do need others in this world, and that's okay too.
It's interesting that, when you think about working with students to make sure that they remember and figuring out the method that works for most students, that's something that I feel like a lot of people are always, there's a lot of science and a lot of work behind it, right? To be like, how does the brain work? And not everyone thinks the same way or, is able to work on problems the same way. So, when you're thinking of high-performing students, I'm sure there's some parents that are watching that are like, well, my, Susie is already pretty smart if she's, getting B and above, so, I don't think she needs to learn anything, right? So, going back to when Spirit of Math started, I know your father started, what was happening at that time where your father identified that there was this void in the market and that these high-performance students needed that additional help? Because typically you wouldn't think they would.
Well, actually, what happened is when he taught this initially in the school system, it was for all children, and not just the high-performing. And when we decided to start it as an after-school program, we felt that the needs of the high-performing were not being addressed properly. And so this provided an opportunity for those kids to meet those needs. Oftentimes what will happen with children in the classroom who are high-performing is they end up being the tutor to other kids, so they're asked to work with other kids, and when they're asked to work with other kids who are weaker than them, they don't have their own ideas challenged, and they also don't have the opportunity to be challenged themselves, and they need that opportunity. In a day school, the teacher has very weak to very strong students. In the middle, most of the kids are here. Addressing the needs of the weaker student is fairly simple because you could break apart some of the ideas and give them simpler questions. But up here with the high-performing child, it's very difficult to address their needs. They think differently, their brains process differently, and they need a different type of questions. So that's why it's important to have the after-school.
Very, very cool. Okay, so now we know a little bit about high-performance students. 25 years in this business, I'm sure we've got some results, some ideas of how the students have benefited. So would you like to share some success stories of some of the students that have gone through the program? It's time to brag, Kim.
Well, we have kids who get accepted regularly on scholarships to the different high-class or high-end universities. We have kids who go to Waterloo every year on scholarship.
Oh, amazing.
And that's to engineering, biomedical engineering, or whatever type of engineering they want. And mathematics. Sometimes it's into music or it's in some other area as well, so it's not always mathematics. We've had kids go to Harvard.
That's what I was thinking. It was like Harvard, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the one?
MIT. We've had Concordia. It just different depending on where the students want to go. Basically, it's really nice for the students because they can choose where they want to go.
I was going to say, it's nice that they have that choice, especially with the financial burden. I feel like now schools, not even the top performing schools, but even schools in general, it's so expensive for most families to be able to send their children, let alone multiple children, right? So if a student can get some scholarships, maybe even the entire scholarship cover, right? I think that would be really, really good for the students.
And it's so much harder to get into these universities now because the overall average they're looking for is well above 90.
Oh, that's the average now. Oh,
yes, so students need to have not only high marks, but they also have to have a well-rounded background. So what we offer also to our senior students is an opportunity to be an assistant teacher in our classes. And we teach them how to be an assistant teacher. And they take on responsibilities and learn some things that they wouldn't have otherwise. So not only are these kids already quite mature, having gone through our program, but after being in a position where they're in a leadership position and they've got some authority and responsibility, it really adds to their resume and allows them to be much more flexible.
It's all about that resume for students, right? It's really, really tough getting in school, so I know firsthand. Well, lots to talk about, including in terms of locations, because I know that's always important for families. You want to make sure that you're not spending 2 hours in traffic trying to get your child to this program. So we're going to talk about that. We got to take a little break. So folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up right after this. Welcome back to Asian Digest on ATN. I'm your host, Amin Dillon, and today we are talking about Spirit of Math, and I've got Kim Langen here with me. Kim, you know, we were talking about the great things that the program does in terms of helping high-performance students kind of get challenged, right? Because you wouldn't think that they need the challenge, but you're right. Oftentimes people think, my child is brilliant, no need to keep pushing them. So I want to ask you, you know, when you think about this program, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a parent. I feel like most parents, they only start thinking about after-school programs when a teacher or somebody brings it up to them that their child is falling behind or something's changed, they're not performing at the level that they should. Now, you were telling me during the commercial break that this is not accurate. Like, parents need to be a little bit more proactive. So maybe explain to us what you mean by that.
Okay, if you watch the really high-performing parents and those who are very successful, and anyone who is successful, you're always preparing for the future. And you don't wait until there's a problem. So in your house, you're not going to wait until you have, your house starts falling apart to an extent that, uh-oh, now I have to do something. If you are proactive, you will fix it before it becomes a major problem. Well, the same with kids. Why don't we do the same with kids? And this is what the high-performing parents do, and those who are successful. They realize that they're not going to wait until their child has a problem. They're going to already give them a little bit of an edge to begin with, and then when they come to our program, because they've been given that edge, and because we're, like I said before, we've got those 4 different elements to our program, they're taken care of. And so they continue, and they can take care of year after year because they are, they're already advanced of the other kids. And then what happens is, the other neat thing is, rather than waiting until they have a problem doing this, getting them in, is that they're ahead of the kids, and so their confidence grows. And when you've got confidence, you're ready to take more risk. And when you take more risk, you're ready to do more of the work, which means that you're learning faster, and it's just a spiral that just keeps growing and growing and growing, so that you're helping this child out. So I guess really the point is, don't wait until there is a problem. Yeah.
And for parents that are thinking, okay, maybe my child could use this, do most parents end up putting their child for 1 session, 1 year, or do you find that the children continue on and it keeps benefiting them?
Oh, they continue on for sure.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Because we're starting in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
So all the way up.
Actually, that's a new program we're just starting right now, and they definitely stay in. It's not only because of the mathematics, it's also because of the other kids. They really, really enjoy being with others like them. They love the challenge, and many of them form huge friendships. And it's really neat because our alumni are just, they've done some incredible things. And so when they meet each other in university, even though they were in a different campus of Spirit of Math, as soon as they say they were from Spirit of Math, oh, great, and then they know that what they've been through too, and immediately they have a bond somehow.
That's nice.
So it's really cool to see. Yeah.
What kind of time commitment is required for these students? So is it every day after school they're coming in and for a certain amount of hours?
They come once a week for an hour and a half from grades 1 through 8, and then grade 9 and up is a 2-hour class. And kindergarten is a 1-hour class.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not. There is homework because we do give them a lot in class. The teacher teaches as a class, and the class progresses through the year together. So they learn from the teacher. They have time to practice in class. They go home, do some homework. They come back. The teacher goes over the homework with them, and they go over the homework with other students. And they will hand in some assignments, other assignments. They'll just make sure that they go over it in class and that all the answers are correct. So for some people who are just starting with Spirit of Math, the homework can take several hours. Other students who are used to the thinking and have all the skills, it could take an hour, and it also depends on the age level.
Kim, let me ask you, I remember that I was thinking this the last time you were here, you've been in this business for many, many years, right? So it's not like you're a new player on the market, and I was just thinking, I know you have been asked to speak at a number of events, representing education, talking about the success of your business and what you do, and I'm like, I can't imagine that schools are not aware of what you do and the benefits that the students are getting, because I'm sure these teachers probably ask the students to be like, how did you learn all this? Spirit of Math. And I'm just at a loss of why schools would not work with you and get you to maybe come into the schools and provide those programs there. So is that something that you are working on, or something that is potentially in the future where you're hoping to build a closer relationship with these schools?
Well, actually, we do have schools who have phoned us up. We've had some very elite schools, heads of mathematics, who have actually phoned me up and said, Kim, these kids know more about problem solving than our teachers, and this is in high school. We've had other schools who heard actually other teachers from other schools are selling our drill books to their schools. They go in, and so we're not marketing to the schools, but people are hearing about it. And we do have drill books and problem of the day books that schools are now buying. And in addition, we also have Winnipeg School Division, where the whole school division, what we are doing is they've put in a huge 4 to 5 year program where we have developed a year-long program for their teachers from grade 4 to 8, every teacher and the principals. They attend, so each year we take a different cohort. So we've done 3 years now of about 100 people each year, and that we're training, and we're teaching mathematics and pedagogy too. And then they're using the whole Winnipeg School Division, which is the largest school division in Manitoba. They're using our drill books. It's not the whole program, but at least they have found incredible results, even in the most difficult inner city schools. It has changed the culture of the classes. And most people will say, well, drills, kids don't like them. In fact, what happened was that the teachers said that the kids said, even when they went away on a little field trip for a camping trip, they said, we want to take our drills with us. And they're so excited about seeing their progress. They're so excited about the fact that they can progress and that they're getting immediate feedback. So we are working with school divisions. I'm working as a consultant for a number of places.
That's fantastic.
And it is exciting. And it's because of that, too, that other countries have been very interested in us, too, and in what we're doing, particularly for the teachers as well.
I was going to say, it's nice that you're not just supporting the students, but the teachers as well, because I know, as many as locations as you have, it's really great if the students aren't just getting that extra attention in the after-school program, that everywhere they go, school and in your program, that they're getting the same level of quality education and that same, the method that goes into making sure that they're learning. So speaking of global, we do have lots of locations, including some that I think our viewers are going to be very interested in. We got to take another little break, but folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up right after this. Welcome back to Asian Digest on ATN. I'm your host, Amin Dillon. And of course, we're talking about Spirit of Math with Kim Langen. Okay, Kim, so one of the best things about this program, Spirit of Math, is you have over 40 locations in North America, but that's just North America. You have locations all over the world. So maybe share some of the news of the new openings that we can expect to see coming up.
Well, right here in Toronto, we have 2 new openings. One is in Markham West, and the other is in the Leaside, North Toronto area. The Markham West grand opening is actually tonight, and the Leaside is tomorrow. We're really excited about it. We've got a new location. It's bright. It's really nice. So that's new. In addition, we are going to be opening in Pakistan in September 2017 in Lahore. And that's really exciting. So we're in the process right now of setting up our business there, and we've been talking to many of the private schools there and to see what we can do with them and how we can partner with different organizations that work with kids, basically. It's really exciting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So literally, even if you decide to move or you have family with kids, there's probably a location near them, depending where they are in the world. And actually, you were also telling me that if you go on the website, for students that don't have access to a nearby location, they can order these drill books online and get it sent at home, right?
Yes, they can. It's one little part,
really
but
nice.
it is a nice part, and also the problem of the day books they can do. We're also starting to work on some online courses too. So our students who come to us in the evenings, they also have, for grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, they have an online component as well, so that if they don't understand everything during the class time, they can actually go online and see the lessons too. We don't have that offered for other students unless they are doing our online program, which is a little different than the in-person.
Of course, but it's just nice to have those options for everybody, right? Now, perhaps somebody's watching this and being like, I wish I'd heard about this earlier. Now, Kim, I don't know if I can get my child in. But it's never too late, right? Parents that are watching right now, if they're interested, just because the school session is about to start or has started perhaps if you're watching later on, they can still contact you and get their child in, right?
Oh, for sure. Now's the greatest time to come in. Many students, we have our highest enrollment in September, throughout September, the beginning of October. We definitely do take children in during the school year. We can't, if they come in late in the school year, we can't teach everything from before, but definitely now is the time. And in fact, we have free trial classes starting the second week in September. So if you just want to give it even a little try, just to see if it's right for your child, that's the best thing. The other thing to think about is even though they're coming in at a higher grade, if your child is high performing, it is still good to have them in there, and they may be a little behind the others because they haven't taken everything, but you still want them to be challenged at their level, and so it's nice to get them in even at higher grades.
Very cool. So of course there's no anything lost if you just want to try it out, right? It doesn't hurt.
That's right.
And I have a feeling you're going to end up really, really enjoying it. So thanks so much, Kim, for coming in, chatting with us. Best of luck with all the locations. And folks, if you want to check out Spirit of Math, if you want to find out more about the program, you want to find out where is the nearest location to you, make sure to visit the website, spiritofmath.com. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks so much for watching ATN. I'm your host, Amin Dillon, signing off at the ATN Studios.